3 months ago, they called him a loser. His wife, Yara, divorced him, her mother mocking him as worthless trash. He was the city's biggest joke. His wife, Yara, divorced him, her mother mocking him as worthless trash. Tonight, at a star-studded gala, a powerful director lays a hand on Victoria's song, the one woman who saw his potential. In front of everyone, Liam doesn't just step in. He calmly empties a bottle of vintage red wine over the famous director's head. A powerful director lays a hand on Victoria's song, the one woman who saw his potential. A powerful director lays a hand on Victoria's song. He calmly empties a bottle of vintage red wine over the famous director's head. Respect women, Liam's voice is ice. And since you love movies so much, let's play? I'll see you at the box office. The next day, the headlines scream. New tycoon Liam Lynn invests $1 billion to produce 2 films and publicly challenge the industry veteran. From across the city, his ex-wife Yara stares at the news, her heart a knot of ice and fire. The loser she cast aside is now a dragon shaking the world, all for another woman. She threw away a diamond, thinking it was a stone. Now, she can only watch as he builds an empire and places another queen on the throne. As dusk settled, Yara Chun and Lucy Gao sat opposite each other in a stylish little tavern. Yara, don't overthink it, Lucy said, swirling the red wine in her glass with a dismissive tone. A nouveau riche loser like Liam Lynn is getting way ahead of himself. Just you wait. I'd love to see how he handles those 2 useless plots of land. Yara didn't respond. Liam's word, naive, was like a thorn stuck deep in her heart. Just then, the conversation of a few men at the next table drifted over. Hey, did you guys hear? The news just came out this afternoon. The city's subway plans have changed again. Changed? They said new geological surveys found problems. There's a safety hazard with plot 1, so the line is diverting east, going through plots 4 and 5 instead. Holy crap. For real? Isn't the person who bought plot 1 totally screwed? And the ones who bought 4 and 5 are going to make a killing. These keywords struck Yara and Lucy like bolts of lightning. They both froze, scrambling for their phones. The headline of the local news was in bold, alarming text. Urgent city subway plans readjusted. Plot 1 abandoned due to geological issues. Plots 4 and 5 become new hotspots. The 2 plots of land Liam owned, which everyone, including them, had dismissed as wasteland, had now become prime realting estate. How is this possible? Lucy's voice trembled, her phone nearly slipping from her grasp. Yara was completely stunned, her mind a blank slate. Liam. He had gambled and won again. And she, just a few days ago, had tried to offer him a way out by acquiring the land, even benevolently suggesting they get back together. She remembered Liam's casual comment at the barbecue stand, calling her naive. It turned out she was the naive one all along. Meanwhile, in the general manager's office of the Wong Real Estate Group, Jason Wong was leisurely sipping red wine. The thought of Liam's $1 billion going down the drain made him want to laugh. A frantic knock echoed, and his assistant, Zhang, burst in, pale and sweating. Mr. Wong. It's bad. Zhang was out of breath, his voice verging on tears. It's the subway plans. You have to see. Jason scoffed, nonchalantly taking the tablet. When the bold headline caught his eye, the smile on his face froze, his pupils contracting. He snatched the tablet, reading the news word for word. His expression shifted from disbelief to shock, then to rage, and finally to a deathly pallor. No. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Jason shot up from his chair, slamming the tablet to the ground and roaring like a madman. The assistant cowered. Mr. Wong. This was from a press conference the city government just held. It's true. Jason felt as if all his strength had been drained. He collapsed back into his chair. The plot 1 he had spent $950 million on was now a hot potato, and Liam, the loser he had always looked down on, had once again ruthlessly crushed him. In the following days, Ethan's phone became a nonstop hotline. The real estate companies that had previously scorned plots 4 and 5 were now doing a complete 180, their tones humble and polite. 3 days later, the conference room at Lynn's Investment was packed. Nearly every major developer in the city had sent a representative. The bidding began, and the atmosphere instantly tensed. The price soared, quickly breaking the $1.8 billion mark. $1.9 billion, one company representative gritted out. Liam finally put down his teacup and spoke calmly. $1.950 billion. In the end, a powerful developer successfully acquired the 2 plots for $1.960 billion. Back in the office, Ethan's hands were shaking as he held the finalized financial report. Liam, after deducting all costs and interest, we netted $1.008 billion. Ethan spun around in excitement. Liam, however, was unfazed. Just standard procedure. He took a screenshot of the financial report and sent it directly to Victoria's song. No text, At that moment, in the CEO's office of Song Advertising, Victoria had just finished a meeting. She picked up her phone, and the image filled her screen. In the CEO's office of Song Advertising, the profit line, +1 008 000 000 hit her heart like a sledgehammer. She remembered her bet with Liam, and a blush uncontrollably crept up her cheeks, spreading to her ears. She took a deep breath, placed her phone face down, and slammed it on the desk. She wouldn't reply. No way. That bastard. In the evening, inside a high-end Chinese restaurant, Liam was celebrating with his core team. In the evening, inside a high-end Chinese restaurant. After a few rounds of drinks, the door to their private room was rudely pushed open. Jason Wong, flanked by a few of his cronies, stood swaying in the doorway. When he saw Liam at the head of the table, his drunken arrogance froze. The thought of his useless plot combined with the news of Liam's $1 billion profit that had spread throughout the city's business circles, sent a wave of humiliation and rage straight to his head. Well, if it isn't. Mr. Big Boss Lin. Jason's voice was dripping with sarcasm. I hear Boss Lin has been quite successful lately. Liam held his teacup, a sharp glint in his eyes. Just when you're getting sleepy, someone brings you a pillow. He pointed to an unopened, expensive bottle of Louis XIII on the table and beckoned to Jason. Jason frowned, confused. What do you want? Liam's tone was calm, but held an undeniable certainty. This bottle. You drink it all, right now, in front of me. Finish it, and I'll buy that plot 1 of yours for $800 million. The air in the private room seemed to freeze. Everyone stared at Liam in disbelief, including Jason Wong himself. $800 million? To buy the worthless, shunned plot 1 off his hands. It sounded like a fantasy. Jason stared at Liam, the muscles in his face twitching. Liam, what? What did you say? Didn't you hear me? Liam took another sip of his tea, his voice calm. Drink this bottle, $800 million. Jason's mind buzzed with 1,000 thoughts. $800 million. That was at least $20 million more than his best-case scenario for offloading the property. If he could sell it for that much, even though it was a loss of $150 million, he could at least recover most of his capital and answer to his family. But to drink an entire bottle of Louis XIII in front of all these people? When had he, Jason Wong, ever been so humiliated? It seems Mr. Wong is not interested. Liam made a gesture as if to see his guests out. I'll count to 3. If you don't drink, the deal is off. 3, 2, 1. I'll drink. Jason squeezed the words out through gritted teeth. He snatched the bottle of Louis XIII from the table, tilted his head back, and started chugging. Amber liquid spilled from the corners of his mouth, staining his expensive shirt. The room was dead silent, filled only with the sound of his swallowing and heavy breathing. Finally, he forced down the last drop and slammed the empty bottle on the table with a crash. He coughed violently, bending over, his face as red as a beet, tears and snot streaming down his face in a pathetic display. Liam. Brother Liam. The bottle. I finished it. $800 million, you said it. As he forced out the words, Brother Liam, he felt as if he had been slapped hard across the face. Liam looked at his sorry state, reached out, and gently patted his cheek, his tone playful. That's more like it. But, compared to how you look now, I still prefer your old, defiant self. Jason's body tensed, but for the sake of $800 million, he gritted his teeth and endured it. He staggered out of the room. The cold night air sobered him up a little. He looked back at the restaurant sign, spat on the ground, and muttered through clenched teeth, Liam, you idiot. $800 million to buy my useless plot. Just you wait and cry. I'll take this humiliation today, but this isn't over. The news quickly reached the Chin family. When Karen learned that Liam had spent $800 million on Jason's worthless land, she laughed with schadenfreude. The news quickly reached the Chin family. Ha ha, serves him right. The heavens have eyes. I bet he'll lose half of the billion he made before. Yara was also stunned. She couldn't understand why Liam, who was so shrewd, would make such a basic mistake. Another weekend passed. At the badminton court, Liam and Victoria Song had just finished a vigorous match. At the badminton court, Liam cornered her against the wall, one hand braced behind her, trapping her in a classic cabotin pose. The bet. When are you going to pay up? Liam leaned in, his gaze intense. The warm breath on Victoria's cheek made her feel hot. You? Get away from me, she said, flustered, trying to push him away, but he gently caught her wrist with his other hand. She tried to change the subject. That plot of land from Jason. Why did you buy it for $800 million? Even if it was to humiliate him, the price was too high, wasn't it? Who said I did it to humiliate him? Liam let her go, his tone light. In my hands, that plot can still make at least another $500 million. $500 million. Victoria's eyes widened, not from nervousness, but from shock. Buying a useless plot worth at most $500 million for $800 million, and still making another $500 million on top of that? That meant the land would eventually sell for 1.3 billion? How was that possible? The next few days were quiet. Until 15 days later, at the Wong Group headquarters, the door to the CEO's office was violently thrown open. Victor Wong stood there, his face ashen with rage. Dad? What? What are you doing here? Jason's heart skipped a beat. Without a word, Victor raised his hand and slapped Jason hard across the face. I'm hitting you. I wish I could beat you to death, you prodigal son. He threw a newspaper at Jason's face. See for yourself. He threw a newspaper at Jason's face. The bold, black headline on the front page hit Jason's eyes like a sledgehammer. Major adjustment in city subway planning. 2 new golden lines added. Original plot 1 becomes sole core hub. Value skyrockets. The article detailed the final subway plan just released by the city government. Not only would the line through plots 4 and 5 remain, but 2 entirely new subway lines would be built simultaneously. And plot 1, previously considered worthless, had miraculously become the sole core interchange for all 3 lines. Experts predicted its commercial value would soar to at least 1.3 billion. Jason felt a sweetness in his throat. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, his vision went black, and he fell backward. He had personally thrown away a mountain of gold, thinking it was trash, and had even been smug about it. Liam. It was him. He did it on purpose. Jason scrambled up from the floor, his eyes bloodshot, his face contorted. He knew all along that plot 1 would appreciate. He was playing me from the start. I'm going to find him. I'm going to kill him. Stop. Victor roared. Haven't you embarrassed us enough? You were outplayed, so admit it. We lost this round, to that Liam Lin. He took a deep breath, his eyes turning grim. This Liam Lin is no simple character. At the same time, the door to Liam's office was thrown open, and an excited Ethan burst in. Liam, you're a genius. You're literally a god. The door to Liam's office was thrown open. Liam didn't even look up, speaking calmly. Is it the news about plot 1? Ethan rushed to his desk, even more impressed. Holy crap. Liam, how did you know? Do you have cameras in our office? His admiration for Liam had now reached the point of blind faith. Sticking with Liam was definitely the right move. Liam looked at Ethan's excited expression, which was just short of him getting on his knees and bowing, and a small smile played on his lips. All right, stop yelling. Spread the word that we're interested in selling plot 1. Ethan, now buzzing with energy, rushed out like a whirlwind. Liam's phone buzzed with a message from Victoria Song. It was a screenshot of the news, the headline circled in red, followed by a series of shocked emojis. Liam chuckled and replied. So, when are we settling the bet? The message went unanswered. Meanwhile, in Lucy Gao's apartment, she was stir-frying vegetables while chatting with Yara-chan about Liam. Yara, that billion Liam made before. It's really something else. She was starting to admire him, though she wouldn't admit it. But this time, spending 800 million on Jason's useless land, I really don't get it. Just you wait, he's definitely going to fall flat on his face this time. Just then, a local news bulletin interrupted the program on the TV in the living room. Breaking news. The city government has held a press conference to officially announce the latest urban subway network plan. The previously controversial Plot 1 will become the sole core hub and transfer station for 3 subway lines. According to preliminary expert assessments, the commercial value of the plot is expected to soar to over 1.3 billion yuan. At the kitchen doorway, Lucy, holding a freshly cooked plate of sweet and sour pork, almost dropped it. On the sofa, Yara froze, the remote control clattering onto the carpet. They stared at each other, seeing the same shock in each other's eyes. Plot 1. A core hub? Worth over 1.3 billion. Liam. Had won again. Lucy felt her brain short-circuiting, and Yara's mind was in turmoil. What she had seen as a foolish decision was, to him, a surefire victory. In his apartment, the sound of the shower was running. Liam was calculating his current assets. A net profit of 1.5 billion from the land, plus the terrifying cash flow from the hot pot restaurants and the game company. The liquid cash he had at his disposal was already around 1.5 to 1.6 billion. Financial freedom was no longer an empty phrase. He picked up his phone and sent a message to his core decision-making group. Everyone, does anyone know any top-tier talent in chain supermarket operations and management? Any recommendations? Isabel replied instantly. Boss, I know someone. Absolutely top-tier in the industry, but he has a bit of a temper, a little arrogant. As long as he's capable, Liam smiled. Set up a meeting for me. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly on the Riverside Greenway. Liam, with a top-of-the-line carbon fiber road bike, saw Victoria Song in the distance. Today, she looked completely different from the powerful CEO she usually was. Dressed in a bright blue professional cycling suit, her curvaceous, perfect figure was outlined, her famous long legs looking even more toned and athletic, exuding a vibrant, Sasong energy. They cycled one after the other along the greenway. The river breeze was gentle. Victoria rode in front, her bright blue figure a moving landscape. After about half an hour, they stopped at a rest area. Victoria tilted her head back to drink water, her long neck forming a graceful arc, a few drops of water sliding down from the corner of her mouth, adding to her post-workout sexiness. All right, the land deal is settled. What are you planning to stir up next? She put down her water bottle, her eyes looking at Liam from behind her sunglasses. A supermarket chain, Liam said in a low voice. Supermarket? Victoria turned her head sharply, her beautiful eyes wide with surprise. But this time, she didn't question him directly. Instead, she frowned and analyzed seriously. Right now, the large supermarket chains are dominated by giants, and community stores are everywhere. It won't be easy for you to get a piece of that pie. There's always a way to be different, Liam said calmly. Victoria was silent for a moment, then suddenly said, if you're really going to do it, I can help you with market research and brand promotion. She turned her head away, a little unnaturally. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to see you easily lose the money you worked so hard to earn. A smile curved Liam's lips. This woman was still so proud. Just as Victoria was about to leave, Liam suddenly stepped in front of her, blocking her way. He leaned one hand on the bicycle seat behind her and gently lifted her chin with the other. The bet. I should collect some interest, right? He leaned in, his gaze intense. Liam, don't you dare. Victoria panicked, trying to push him away, but he caught her wrist, pulling her even closer. She could clearly feel the warmth of his chest and the strong beat of his heart. The next second, Liam kissed her. Victoria's eyes flew open, her mind a complete blank. After a brief moment of shock, a strong sense of shame washed over her. She struggled violently. MMPH. Let go. In her panic, she bit down hard on his lip. Hiss. Liam flinched in pain and instinctively let her go. Victoria took the chance to break free, stumbling back several steps. She covered her lips, her cheeks flushed as red as if they were about to bleed. Her beautiful eyes, full of shame and anger, glared at him. You bastard. Pervert. She shot him another glare, then violently grabbed her bike and fled the scene as fast as she could. Liam watched her hasty retreat, touched his still-tingling lip, and chuckled softly. A notification sounded on his phone. It was a message from Isabel setting up a casual dinner for him that night with the top retail talent named Aaron, and attached was his digital resume. Liam opened it. Aaron, 35, an Ivy League MBA, former operations director for Walmart, China, in the southern region. His resume was dazzlingly impressive. A look of satisfaction appeared in Liam's eyes. This Aaron was indeed a rare talent. To him, as long as someone was genuinely capable, so-called arrogance was just another manifestation of ability. Liam returned home, took a shower, and changed into a well-fitting casual outfit. In the evening, he drove to the high-end private restaurant that Isabel had booked. In the elegant private room, Isabel and Aaron were sitting opposite each other. Aaron, the former operations director for Walmart, China, in the southern region, was a top-tier retail talent whom Liam had poached at great expense through a headhunting firm. He looked to be in his mid-30s, dressed in a tailored suit, his expression calm and unreadable. Isabel was a bit nervous. She had already embellished her descriptions of Liam's miraculous feats, but this man remained as stoic as ever. Just then, the door to the room was pushed open, and Liam walked in. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, Liam got straight to the point. Mr. I've recently become interested in the supermarket chain business. I'd like to hear your expert opinion. Aaron put down his chopsticks and leaned back in his chair. What aspect would you like to discuss, Mr. Lin? I want to know if there's still a chance for a new player to rise quickly in the current supermarket industry. If so, where is the breakthrough point? Aaron pondered for a moment before speaking. There are always opportunities, but the window for new entrants is getting smaller. Traditional supermarkets are generally facing the challenges of e-commerce, severe homogenization, and rising operating costs. His speech was unhurried but logical, each point backed by unquestionable professionalism. As for the breakthrough, I believe it lies in extreme differentiation, deep integration with digital technology, and community-based operations. Liam listened quietly, nodding slowly. This Aaron was indeed as impressive as his reputation suggested. The points he raised coincided with the insights Liam had gained from his system. Mr. Your understanding of the supermarket business is very profound. Liam praised him sincerely. Aaron's expression remained calm, merely offering a slight nod. However, Liam's tone shifted. In my view, the core of a supermarket will always be people and products. The supermarket I want to create isn't just about selling things. It must first be a place where people feel comfortable, happy, and even a little surprised. He began to elaborate on his philosophy, from store designs that broke the cold, crowded impression of traditional supermarkets, to a product strategy driven by both extreme freshness and differentiated selection, to a partnership-style service system that transformed employees from stockers and cashiers into customer shopping advisors. Aaron listened quietly, his posture, which had been casually leaning back, unconsciously straightened up. Mr. Lin, Aaron finally spoke, his voice a bit more serious than before. The blueprint you've described is very appealing. Frankly, many of these ideas are things I've wanted to push for in the past, but faced heavy resistance. Are you sure this isn't just a beautiful fantasy? Liam smiled, took a document from his bag, and handed it to Aaron. Talk is cheap. Here's a preliminary framework I've put together. You can take a look. The cover of the document had only a few words. Fresh Life Supermarket, preliminary concept. Aaron opened it, and after reading just a few paragraphs, his expression changed. The content was detailed, the logic tight, the analysis of market pain points was incisive, and the proposed solutions were bold and innovative. Many of the detailed considerations were even more thorough and forward-thinking than his own, a veteran who had been in the industry for years. After what felt like a long time, Aaron abruptly closed the document and let out a long breath. He looked up, and when he looked at Liam again, his gaze had completely changed. It was filled with shock, disbelief, and a kind of admiration one feels when meeting a true master. Mr. Lin, this concept of yours. Aaron's voice was a bit hoarse. This is simply revolutionary. He took a deep breath, his eyes becoming firm. Mr. Lin, I'm willing to join your team. I want to personally build this Fresh Life supermarket. Liam looked at him with a satisfied smile. Good. This supermarket project is all yours. Meanwhile, at Yara Advertising, Yara pushed a proposal in front of Hannah He, her voice resolute. This mineral water ad campaign, you'll oversee it personally. Make sure it's flawless. She couldn't lose, and she wouldn't lose. If Liam could do it, so could she. Liam's life, on the other hand, was much more relaxed. After entrusting the preliminary work for the supermarket to a highly motivated Aaron, he completely stepped back, taking his family for a few days of relaxation in the neighboring Water City. Water City was picturesque, with its small bridges, flowing water, and white-walled, black-tiled houses. In the evening, the family walked into a riverside restaurant and unexpectedly ran into Kyle Chi. He was having dinner with his girlfriend and her parents. Mr. Lin, what are you doing here? Kyle ran over to greet him, pleasantly surprised. When Kyle's girlfriend's parents heard the title Mr. Lin, their attitude did a complete 180. They enthusiastically invited them to join their table. Throughout the meal, they were incredibly warm to Liam, praising his youth and success, their words filled with satisfaction that their daughter's boyfriend had such a boss. After dinner, Kyle said gratefully, Liam, seriously, thank you. If it weren't for you, I'd probably still be worrying about a down payment, let alone buying a car, a house, and taking my girlfriend and her parents on a trip. Seeing his friend living a better life put Liam in a good mood. Back at the hotel in Water City, his phone rang. It was a message from Victoria's song. Are you free tomorrow? How about a bike ride on the East Lake Greenway? Liam raised an eyebrow and replied with an okay emoji. The next morning, Liam, with a newly purchased top-of-the-line road bike, arrived at the start of the Riverside Greenway. Victoria was already there. She was wearing a bright blue professional cycling suit that perfectly outlined her flawless figure, making her look both sassong and full of vitality. They rode for a while and stopped at a rest area. Liam suddenly stepped in front of her, leaning one hand on the bicycle seat behind her, trapping her. The bet. I should collect some interest, right? He leaned in, his gaze intense. Liam, don't you dare. Victoria pushed at him in a panic, but he caught her wrist. The next second, he kissed her. Victoria's eyes flew open, and in a panic, she bit down hard on his lip. Hiss. Liam flinched in pain and let her go. You bastard. Pervert. Victoria's cheeks were as red as if they were about to bleed. She shot him a glare, grabbed her bike, and fled the scene as fast as she could. Liam watched her hasty retreat, touched his still tingling lip, and chuckled softly. A notification sounded on his phone. It was a message from Isabel Bai, confirming the meeting time with Aaron in. Liam read through Aaron's dazzlingly impressive resume, a look of satisfaction on his face. He was in a very good mood. After a few days in Water City, Liam returned to his hometown with his family. As soon as he got back, Aaron called to set up a meeting to report on his progress. In the cafe, Aaron, dressed in smart business casual, looked energetic and even sharper than when they had first met. He opened his laptop, pulled up a presentation, and analyzed the pros and cons of 3 core business districts for site selection, the preliminary recruitment plan, and the status of supplier negotiations, all with detailed charts and data. Liam listened quietly. Aaron's efficiency and professionalism truly made his life easier. The system provided the strategy, and Aaron was able to perfectly translate that strategy into tactical execution. Let's go with location C, Liam said with almost no hesitation after Aaron finished, pointing to a map of the city's new district. We're not here to fight for a piece of the existing market. We're here to create a new one. A look of understanding and admiration flashed in Aaron's eyes. Liam's decisiveness once again showed him the audacity of this young boss. While Liam was busy pushing forward with Fresh Life Supermarket, the city's business community was in an uproar over his project. A $1 billion investment in the long-stagnant local retail market was undoubtedly a bombshell. Skepticism, mockery, and cold observation filled the air. To make matters worse, Victor Wong, the chairman of Wangcheng Real Estate, who had been thoroughly outmaneuvered by Liam in the land deal, held a grudge and secretly formed an alliance with several established supermarket chains against Fresh Life Supermarket. "Gentlemen," Victor Wong said at a dinner, holding a wine glass, looking indignant, "this Liam Lin is arrogant and doesn't respect us veterans. If he really succeeds with his supermarket, with his kind of reckless spending, it will surely disrupt the market order. We must unite and teach him a lesson." Instantly, the bosses who were already wary of Liam all responded. An undercurrent began to flow. In the afternoon, at the city's main prison, Yara Chun saw her brother, Chris Chun, in a prison uniform through the thick glass of the visitation room. "I've pulled some strings," Yara said calmly. "You've been behaving well, and after consideration, they've reduced your sentence. If all goes well, you should be out in about a month and a half." Chris was ecstatic. After his initial excitement, he hesitated and asked, "So, how's Liam been lately?" At the mention of Liam, Karen Gua instantly shrieked. "Why bring up that ungrateful wolf? He's got his wings now. I heard he's messing around with some stupid supermarket. I hope he loses everything." Chris immediately chimed in. "Exactly. Mom's right. People like him deserve to go bankrupt." Yara listened to her mother and brother's curses, her brow furrowed. She silently turned her gaze out the window, her heart a mix of emotions. Back at her company, she had someone gather information on the local business scene. Among the news, the alliance of several supermarkets against Liam stood out. She hesitated for a moment, then finally handed the file to her assistant, Hannah. Find a chance to give it to Liam." Liam had just left location C when he ran into Hannah. He took the file, glanced through it, and a subtle smile touched his lips. He casually stuffed the file into his pocket as if it were a piece of scrap paper. "Is that all?" He raised an eyebrow. "Liam, you can't be careless," Hannah reminded him, worried. Liam raised his hand and habitually ruffled her hair. "I know, little girl. Come on, I'll treat you to dinner as a thank you for being my messenger." At dinner, Hannah was still worried. She asked quietly, "Liam, those people are ganging up on you. Are you really sure it's not a problem? Just a bunch of clowns. Nothing to worry about," Liam said calmly. Hannah hesitated, then couldn't help but say, "You know, Liam, Yara, she actually really cares about you. Maybe you two could." The smile on Liam's face faded. He put down his teacup, the light clink against the table cutting Hannah off. "She's not worthy." 3 words. Short, blunt, and devoid of any emotion. They sent a shiver down Hannah's spine. Back at the company, Yara immediately called her into the office. "Did you deliver it?" "Yes, I did." "What was his reaction?" Yara's fingertips tapped unconsciously on the desk. "Liam, he didn't seem to care much." Hannah chose her words carefully, then added, "He said thank you for the delivery and treated me to dinner. During dinner, I also mentioned you." "What did he say?" A flicker of hope rose in Yara's heart. Hannah bit her lip and mustered her courage to repeat, "Liam. Liam cut me off. He said, you're not worthy." A dead silence fell over the office. The color drained from Yara's face, leaving it pale, but then an unnatural flush crept up from her neck. Her eyes seemed to ignite with 2 small flames as she stared at Hannah, her chest heaving. After a long moment, she forced out a sentence from between her teeth. "I see. You can go now." Her voice was hoarse and dry, as if suppressing immense anger. The door closed gently. Yara shot up from her chair, pacing the office like a caged animal. She grabbed a steel pen from her desk and fiercely wrote Liam Lin on a piece of paper, the ink almost tearing through the page. She stared at the 2 words, her eyes a complex mix of anger, resentment, hurt, and a hint of a panic she refused to acknowledge. Suddenly, she raised the pen and, with all her strength, stabbed at the name on the paper again and again. With a snap, the nib of the expensive pen broke. She threw the broken pen to the ground, collapsed back into her chair, and her eyes slowly began to turn red. A few days later, in Liam's office, Aaron pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, his expression more solemn than usual. "Mr. Lin, Victor Wong has indeed started to make moves," he reported methodically. "Several of the city's old supermarket chains have begun creating minor troubles for us with suppliers and property management. There are rumors circulating that we're just amateurs burning money. A lot of people are waiting for us to become a joke." Liam remained unperturbed, as if listening to mere street gossip. "Just clowns using their old tricks," he said, putting down his teacup and tapping his fingers on the desk. "The more they do this, the more it proves we're on the right path, and they feel threatened. For suppliers, continue screening according to our standards. If we can't find suitable ones here, we'll look elsewhere. We just need to focus on doing our own thing well." After Aaron left, Liam received a message from Linda Fong, wanting to get her daughter Cynthia's cosmetics brand into Fresh Life Supermarket. Liam smiled and readily agreed. At Velvetia Cosmetics, an assistant reported with a worried look, "Ms. Shun, regarding the counter at Fresh Life Supermarket, I personally think we need to be cautious. Their future is uncertain, and I've heard several established local supermarkets are boycotting them. If we move in hastily, the risk is significant." Cynthia Shun listened quietly. From a business perspective, it was indeed a risky move. But she couldn't help but picture Liam. The man who was once a looked-down-upon house husband was now creating one business miracle after another. She took a deep breath, her gaze firming. I've decided to partner with Fresh Life. Not only will we do it, but we'll do it with care. In the following days, preparations for Fresh Life supermarket proceeded smoothly. One evening, Liam went back to his old neighborhood to have dinner with his parents. A mineral water commercial was playing on TV. Clear Spring Mountain Water, the source of vitality. A bright and clear slogan rang out. The ad, with its lush green mountains and sparkling springs, was beautifully shot and unforgettable. Oh, this ad is so well made. Michelle Sue watched with great interest. Liam glanced at it too. The ad was indeed high quality. He commented with a simple, not bad, and continued eating. When he got home, Aaron called. Mr. Lin, all the preliminary work for the supermarket is complete. We can officially open in 3 days. After hanging up, just as Liam lay down, a message from Victoria's song popped up. Liam, your ex-wife is quite something. It was followed by a screenshot of an ad data report, clearly stating, Clear Spring Mineral Water ad, first day online data statistics. All metrics showed explosive growth. The production company was Yara Advertising. Liam smiled and tossed his phone aside. Her being good was expected, but it had nothing to do with him. Victoria quickly sent another message. So, surprised? Her ad really took off. Liam replied, that's her talent. Yeah, Victoria's tone was complex. By the way, have you seen the ad proposal we did for your supermarket? Opening in 3 days is a bit tight. Haven't looked at it closely, but I trust your company's professionalism. Cost isn't an issue. Results are what matter. Oomph, that's more like it. Victoria sent a smug emoji. This time, I won't lose to anyone. Meanwhile, at Yara Advertising, the atmosphere was festive. The viral success of the Clear Spring ad had allowed Yara to reclaim some of her pride in the face of Liam's successive miracles. After a meeting, her phone buzzed nonstop with previous hesitant clients now seeking cooperation. A sense of triumphant satisfaction washed over her. Asterisk Liam, did you see? I'm amazing too. Asterisk. 3 days later, at location C in the new district, Fresh Life Supermarket had a low-key opening with a modest display of firecrackers. However, contrary to the expected bustling scene, the supermarket was rather quiet. At the same time, several nearby established supermarket chains seemed to have coordinated to launch even bigger promotional events. A joint siege against Fresh Life Supermarket had quietly begun. In the afternoon, a red Porsche parked in the supermarket's lot. Yara and Lucy Gao got out. Walking into the supermarket, they found it bright and clean, with soft lighting, spacious aisles, and artfully arranged goods. The fruits and vegetables in the fresh produce section were plump and fresh, and the seafood section was full of lively fish, shrimp, and crabs. This supermarket's quality seems different from what we're used to, Lucy said, growing more surprised as she looked around. The attention to detail was evident. But in stark contrast to the high-end environment and quality products was the sparse number of customers. Strange. The products are so good, why are there so few people? Lucy picked up a box of imported chocolates, glanced at the price, and gasped. Yara, look at this price. It's quite a bit more expensive than other supermarkets. She randomly picked up a few daily necessities to compare and found they were generally 20 to 30% more expensive. The products are good, but they're too pricey. With this pricing, and the other big supermarkets offering huge discounts, isn't he just asking for failure? Yara nodded, a strange sense of worry for Liam creeping into her heart. When she got home, Karen Guo was gloating. Oh Yara, I passed by Liam's stupid supermarket today. There was nobody there. It was hilarious. I told you, what does a freeloader know about business? I bet he's going to lose his shirt this time. Listening to her mother's sharp curses, Yara felt a wave of irritation and fatigue. Mom, I'm tired. I'm going upstairs. But her mother's curses stuck in her mind like a thorn, adding to her inexplicable worry for Liam's supermarket. For several days, the performance of Fresh Life Supermarket remained as bleak as the late autumn weather. Aaron stood by the floor-to-ceiling window in Liam's office, holding a tablet, his brow slightly furrowed. Mr. Lin, here is the summary data for the first week of operation. The average daily customer flow is hovering around 300, and the revenue barely covers daily utilities and some labor costs. The joint promotions from the neighboring supermarkets are intensifying, and customers generally find our prices too high. Liam leaned back in his chair, listening calmly, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the desk. No rush, he finally said. Let them have their fun for a few more days. Building a reputation takes time. In the afternoon, Liam drove to the supermarket alone. The store was still bright and clean, the goods exquisitely displayed, but the customers were few and far between. He ran into Cynthia Shun, who was inspecting her counter for Velvetia. Mr. Lin, here for an inspection. Cynthia greeted him. Just looking around, Liam's gaze swept over the counter. How's the response? Cynthia tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Her smile was professional, but the fleeting worry in her eyes couldn't be completely hidden. It's all right. More people are looking than buying. Liam gave a non-committal, wandered around the supermarket for a bit longer, and then left. Watching his retreating figure, Cynthia's assistant couldn't help but whisper, "Ms. Shun, it's been a week, and sales are so low they don't even cover the counter's electricity bill. Some executives at the company are already questioning our decision to be here." "Let's hold on a little longer," Cynthia said, taking a deep breath, her tone firm. "I trust Mr. Lin. If he dared to do this, he must have his reasons." Liam was driving back to the city when his phone rang. It was Victoria's song. "Well, Mr. Big Boss," her teasing voice came through. "How's business at your Fresh Life supermarket? Is it about to go under? Do you want this lady to show you the way?" Liam laughed. "What's this? So concerned about my business? You still haven't paid up on that bet you lost to me, have you?" "Humph." Victoria snorted. "You're full of tricks. This half-dead state you're in now, you're probably plotting something big. I'm not betting. I'm just waiting for the show." "Oh, you have that much faith in me?" Liam asked with interest. "Don't be so smug," Victoria said stubbornly. "I just think that someone who can annoy me so much probably won't fail so quickly." With that, she hung up abruptly. Liam chuckled and shook his head. Just then, at the intersection ahead, something happened. A loud crash echoed as a flashy red car slammed into the roadside barrier. The front of the car was severely damaged, smoke billowing out. Liam instinctively hit the brakes and ran over. In the driver's seat, a woman was slumped over, a gash on her forehead, unconscious. The door was too damaged to open. He acted decisively, grabbing a half-brick from the roadside and smashing the car window. He cleared the broken glass, unbuckled the woman's seatbelt, and pulled her out. After carrying the woman to safety, Liam pushed her hair back and was stunned. Lucy Gao? Seeing that her life wasn't in immediate danger and that help was on the way, Liam didn't want to get involved. He quietly backed away into the crowd and left. Not long after he left, he heard a shout from behind. "Fire! The car's on fire!" He looked back to see the front of the red car engulfed in flames. At the hospital, in the emergency room, Lucy slowly woke up to see Yara's anxious face. The doctor said she only had a minor concussion and was fine. How did I get out?" Lucy asked, still shaken. "Someone rescued you," Yara said. "The person who saved you left without giving a name." As she spoke, a traffic officer came in and played a video shot by a witness. On the screen, a familiar figure smashed the car window and pulled the unconscious Lucy out. It was Liam. An eerie silence fell over the room. Lucy stared at Liam's figure on the screen, her expression extremely complex. The man she often ridiculed had saved her life in a moment of crisis. In the following days, the situation at Fresh Life supermarket worsened. A flood of organized negative information appeared online. Various short videos maliciously slandered the supermarket, claiming its products were expensive, of poor quality, used expired ingredients, and that it was on the verge of bankruptcy. "Mr. Lin, the situation is not good," Aaron reported with a grave face. "These videos are spreading quickly and are having a huge impact on our reputation and customer flow." Liam watched the poorly made videos, his face showing little emotion. He even smiled. "Interesting. It seems someone is getting desperate." He stood up and patted Aaron's shoulder. "Since they don't want to play fair and prefer dirty tricks, we don't need to be polite either. It's time to flip the table and knock them out with one punch." Aaron was stunned. Liam leaned in and whispered a few instructions in his ear. As Aaron listened, his eyes widened, the gravity on his face replaced by extreme excitement. At the city's main hospital, Lucy was being discharged. She was scrolling through her phone and saw one of the slanderous videos about Fresh Life supermarket. She frowned, then suddenly said to Yara, who was seeing her off, "Yara, you go ahead. I have something to do." After seeing Yara off, Lucy took a deep breath, took out her phone, and started making calls. "Hey Lily, stop shopping. I'm taking you to a great place." "Andy Wong, it's Lucy. I found a place where the fruit is so fresh you can squeeze water out of it." She made 7 or 8 calls in a row. Half an hour later, she had gathered a large group of her friends and relatives and marched them into Fresh Life supermarket. "Don't be shy, everyone. Buy whatever you like. It's on me today." Lucy waved her hand grandly. Liam returned to his parents' home. At the dinner table, Michelle and Alan tried to speak several times, but swallowed their words, instead just piling food onto his plate, their worried eyes giving them away. "Mom, Dad, the supermarket is fine," Liam said with a smile, putting down his chopsticks. "You'll see in a few days." Just then, Aaron's call came through, his voice tinged with excitement. "Mr. Lin, everything is ready." "Good." A slight smile touched Liam's lips. "Then let's begin. Let them have a good look." At the entrance of the city's main prison, the heavy iron gates slowly opened. Christian walked out in civilian clothes, squinting in the harsh sunlight, feeling a bit dazed. "Chris." Karen rushed forward and hugged her son, tears instantly streaming down her face. "My son, you're finally out." Chris's eyes reddened, then his gaze turned venomous. "Mom, where's Liam? He made me suffer so much. I won't let him get away with it." Karen's face immediately twisted into a gloating smile. Son, don't you worry. That ungrateful wolf isn't doing so well himself. I hear his stupid supermarket is about to go bankrupt. Really? Chris's eyes lit up with a morbid excitement. He deserves it. Mom, sis, let's not go home yet. Let's go to his supermarket. I want to see him fail with my own eyes. The entrance to Fresh Life supermarket was indeed deserted. The moment Chris got out of the car and saw the scene, he practically danced with joy. Ha ha, nobody here. That idiot Liam thought he could run a supermarket? What does he know? He swaggered into the store. The vast space was nearly empty of customers. He stood with his hands on his hips, making clicking sounds with his tongue. The decor is nice, but it's all for show. The prices are sky high. Who would buy anything here? I give it a month before it shuts down for good. The mother and son's duet was just loud enough for the nearby employees to hear. Yara followed behind them, watching her brother and mother's petty triumph with a frown, a sour taste in her mouth. In the evening, Yara and Lucy met at a small tavern. Yara, congratulations. Lucy raised her glass. That Clear Spring ad was a phenomenon. You're definitely not any less impressive than Liam now. At the mention of Liam, the smiles on both their faces faded. Yara sighed. His supermarket. I want to see it today. The situation isn't good. Well, he's in a tough spot this time. Lucy shook her head. All those established supermarkets ganging up on him. How can a newcomer like him stand a chance? Unless he gets help from a god. Just then, Yara's phone rang. It was several videos from Hannah, the content shocking, moldy fruit being repackaged, expired meat with altered production dates, filthy kitchens. The end of each video cleverly pointed to several well-known supermarket chains in the city. Yara, do you remember how Liam made Celestial Palace hot pot a success? Lucy put down her glass, her eyes glinting as a bold idea formed in her mind. Yara was taken aback for a moment, then it dawned on her. First, muddy the waters, then emerge as the clean stream. This all-or-nothing, scorched earth tactic was indeed Liam's style. Lucy nodded heavily. It has to be. That guy. He's a madman. He's trying to drag down every supermarket in the city so he can be the one left standing. In the following days, online discussions about food safety in supermarkets continued to heat up. The storm, starting in their city, quickly swept across the country. More and more insiders came forward with exposés, and secretly filmed videos popped up everywhere. Consumers were angry and panicked, their trust in supermarkets hitting rock bottom. The situation escalated until it caught the attention of the national government, leading to a swift and decisive nationwide campaign to clean up food safety in supermarkets. Just as public trust in the supermarket industry hit its lowest point, Aaron, the general manager of Fresh Life Supernet, suddenly announced a press conference. At the conference, Aaron, dressed in a formal suit, faced countless cameras, his expression calm. Friends from the media, I'm sure you are all aware of the recent food safety storm. As someone in the supermarket industry, I am deeply saddened. Today, on behalf of Fresh Life Supermarket, I solemnly promise, Fresh Life Supermarket will maintain maximum transparency to the public. We welcome any media, any citizen, any regulatory body, at any time, to inspect any of our stores in any area. He paused, then dropped an even bigger bombshell. Perhaps many of you don't know yet, but Fresh Life Supermarket and the city's well-known Celestial Palace Hot Pot belong to the same group. This news spread like wildfire online. Some quick-acting food bloggers, skeptical but curious, rushed to Fresh Life Supermarket immediately. Folks, today we're going to check this place out for ourselves and see what's what, a streamer named Big Mouth Eats said, holding a selfie stick as he walked into the supermarket. The lighting was bright and soft, the floor was spotless, and the shelves were neatly arranged. In the fruit section, each price tag clearly indicated the origin and picking date. In the meat section, every piece of meat had a QR code that could be scanned to trace it back to the farm, slaughter date, and quarantine certificate. Whoa, this is awesome. They even have a food traceability system. Big Mouth exclaimed in amazement. What shocked him and his viewers even more was the service. A guide patiently recommended low-sugar snacks to an elderly customer. A cleaner smiled as she cleaned up a spilled drink for a customer. And the service desk even offered free drinking water, bandages, sewing kits, and baby diapers. Folks, I'm a little stunned. Big Mouth scratched his head. I came here to find fault, but the service, the details, the management, it's just incredible. As more and more vlogs were released, the various god-tier operations of Fresh Life Supermarket were exposed one by one. The internet exploded. The previous voices of doubt and mockery were quickly replaced by shock and praise. I'm crying. I can't believe such a good supermarket actually exists. From now on, I'm only shopping at Fresh Life. The customer traffic at Fresh Life Supermarket visibly surged. The once deserted store was now filled with an endless stream of customers and happy faces carrying full shopping bags. Chapter 81. Just as the online reputation of Fresh Life Supermarket was making a meteoric comeback, officers from the city's Market Supervision Bureau arrived for a routine inspection. The officials are here. Now we'll see the real deal. Countless eyes were glued to the inspection through media live streams. However, the results of the inspection once again shocked everyone. From the kitchen to the warehouse, from the fresh produce to the cooked food sections, everything was perfect. The hygiene standards were stricter than a five-star hotel's. All records were clear and organized, and there wasn't a single expired product. The deputy director of the Market Supervision Bureau, in an interview, openly praised the supermarket. The management level of this supermarket is indeed very high. In many areas, they have gone above and beyond our regulatory requirements. This official stamp of excellence completely blew up the internet. The previously exposed corrupt supermarkets stood in stark contrast to Fresh Life. One represented the decline of the industry, while the other represented its hope and benchmark. The scorched earth strategy orchestrated by Liam had, at this point, achieved a resounding victory. Fresh Life Supermarket had not only cleared its name of all negative impacts, but had also built a shining brand on a foundation of ruins. In the following days, Fresh Life became more than just a shopping place in the city. It became a viral sensation. Many tourists from other cities even drove hundreds of kilometers just to experience this legendary god-tier supermarket. In the Fresh Life office, Aaron walked quickly to Liam, holding a report, his voice filled with excitement. Mr. Lin, here is the summary of our operational data since opening, especially for the week after our reputation turned around. The average daily customer flow per store has exceeded 25,000, and the average daily sales have stabilized at over 1.8 million. And that's not even counting the additional revenue from high-value products. Liam nodded slightly, his expression still calm. This data was within his expectations. Mr. Lin, the supermarkets that boycotted us are having a very tough time now. Several of them are on the verge of bankruptcy and are looking to sell, Aaron added. Liam smiled faintly. As expected, he pondered for a moment. Expansion is inevitable, but there's no rush. Let's first solidify the foundation of this store, fully test the model, and build up our talent pipeline. Our goal is not temporary popularity, but long-term reputation and sustained profitability. After Aaron left, Liam's phone rang. It was Victoria's song. Mr. Big Boss, congratulations. Your Fresh Life is now a viral sensation. Her cheerful voice came through. Tell me, Liam, did you leak those videos online? That scorched earth tactic was brilliantly played. Liam chuckled. I didn't do anything. I just exposed some facts. The innocent are innocent, and the guilty are guilty. Easy for you to say. Victoria was clearly skeptical. Anyway, I won't waste your time. Seeing as you're so successful lately, care to join me for a game of badminton to celebrate? In the evening, at the badminton court, after several games, Victoria was drenched in sweat, out of breath, and ultimately defeated. They chose an elegant Western restaurant, had some red wine, and a charming blush appeared on Victoria's fair cheeks, her eyes becoming somewhat hazy. Liam, she swirled the wine in her glass. I find that I understand you less and less. Everything you do seems as if it's all under your control. After dinner, as they walked to Liam's car, Victoria suddenly turned, stood on her tiptoes, and gave him a quick peck on the lips. This is for the bet we made. A little interest paid in advance, she said, intending to turn and run. But just as she turned, Liam grabbed her wrist, pulled her back, and into his arms. The next second, a kiss, aggressive and smelling of rich red wine, landed heavily on her lips. Victoria's eyes flew open, her mind a complete blank. She went from initial resistance to gradually getting lost in the moment. After what felt like a long time, Liam finally let her go. She gasped for air, her cheeks flushed as red as if they were about to bleed. She shot him a fierce glare, turned in embarrassment, and fled in a hurry. Liam watched her hasty retreat and chuckled softly. The kiss had stirred something in him. He took out his phone and dialed Jessica Zhang's number. Hello, come to my place now. When he opened his front door, a slender figure stood with her back to him. Hearing the door open, the figure slowly turned. Jessica was wearing a white Foxgirl cosplay outfit, the fabric minimal, outlining her exquisite figure, a fluffy white tail swaying gently behind her. She was barefoot, with small bells tied around her ankles that chimed with her every move. Liam's breathing grew heavier as he walked towards her. At Fresh Life Supermarket, Alan and Michelle were speechless at the sight before them. Old Lynn, pinch me. Is this really our son's supermarket? Michelle pulled her husband's arm, her face full of disbelief. In all her life, she had never seen a supermarket so bustling. Linda Fong, who was with them, was even more amazed. Oh my goodness, there are so many people. Your son, Liam, is truly amazing. She held Michelle's hand, full of envy and flattery. Sister-in-law, your Liam is a big celebrity in the city now. At her counter, Cynthia Shun was confidently instructing a sales associate. Velvethia's sales at Fresh Life were now the highest of all their stores in the city. She had been nominated for regional sales director and would officially take up the position next month. Looking at all this, she knew that choosing to trust Liam back then was the rightest decision she had ever made. Meanwhile, in the dining room of the Chun Villa, the atmosphere was oppressive. The TV was broadcasting news of city leaders highly praising Fresh Life Supermarket. With a clatter, Chris slammed his chopsticks on the table, his face ashen. He stormed over and turned off the TV. So noisy. Can't even have a peaceful meal. What's so great about it? Karen said snidely. He probably used some dirty tricks. People like him will fall sooner or later. Yara looked down, silently picking at the rice in her bowl, saying nothing. Liam. The name was like a tiny needle, pricking her heart from time to time. She knew that Liam had succeeded, and it was a huge success, a success that her advertising agency could never catch up to. Chapter 82. Late at night, Liam was in his study, organizing his assets. Liquid funds, $670 million. Fixed assets, Fresh Life Supermarket, with an initial investment of $1 billion, now had a brand value and overall valuation that Liam wouldn't even consider discussing for less than $3 billion. Celestial Palace Hot Pot was expanding rapidly with abundant cash flow. The game company continued to be profitable. From a despised house husband to a multi-billionaire, it had only been a few short months. His phone screen lit up. It was from Victoria's song. Mr. Big Boss, are you asleep? There's a business networking gala hosted by the city government on Sunday night. Are you going? Liam replied. Depends. The next morning, an electronic invitation from the city government arrived. Liam drove to his parents' place for a meal. As he entered the complex, he ran into Linda Fong, carrying a basket of groceries. Oh, isn't it Liam? She greeted him warmly. Liam, your Fresh Life Supermarket is now the pride of our city. I went for a look the other day, and oh my goodness, the crowd was spectacular. She lowered her voice and said conspiratorially, let me tell you, because of the Fresh Life project, our Cynthia is being promoted to regional director next month. It's all thanks to you. Liam smiled and exchanged a few pleasantries before heading upstairs. As he entered his home, his sister Chloe jumped up from the sofa and hugged his arm, chattering away. Not bad, Boss Lin. Our Fresh Life Supermarket is now a legend at my university. When I tell my classmates my brother opened it, they're so jealous. As the family was talking, there was a knock on the door. Meanwhile, downstairs in Linda's apartment, she quickly pulled a pile of imported fruits from the fridge and arranged them on a large platter. Cynthia, Liam is back. Take this fruit platter over to their place. Your neighbors, you should visit more often. She unceremoniously pulled off Cynthia's cardigan, revealing the black lace-trimmed camisole underneath. This looks good. You look sharp. Go on. Remember to chat a bit. Cynthia was pushed to the door by her mother, her face burning with a mixture of helplessness and embarrassment. She braced herself and walked to Liam's door. Liam got up to answer it and was slightly taken aback. It was Cynthia, holding a large fruit platter, a slight blush on her cheeks. Unlike her usual professional demeanor, she was now only wearing a black lace camisole, her delicate collarbones and rounded shoulders exposed, giving her a softer, more sensual look. Liam. Cynthia felt a bit uncomfortable under his gaze. My mom asked me to bring some fruit over. After saying that, as if afraid he would ask her to stay, she quickly turned and left, her retreating figure looking flustered. On the other side of town, at Yara's house, Karen was scrolling through her tablet and suddenly raised her voice. Yara, come look. The city government is hosting a business gala on Sunday night. All the big names in the city will be there. You have to go. It's a great opportunity to network. Yara didn't want to go, but she couldn't resist her mother's insistence and reluctantly agreed. On Sunday evening, the city's International Convention Center was brilliantly lit, with luxury cars lining the entrance. Liam, dressed in a well-tailored dark suit, walked into the banquet hall with an equally well-dressed Isabel by. Liam, a clear, pleasant female voice called out. Victoria's song, holding a glass of red wine, gracefully walked towards him. Tonight, she was undoubtedly one of the highlights of the event, wearing a royal blue strapless gown with a fishtail hem that outlined her graceful figure. The dress was adorned with tiny diamonds that sparkled under the lights. Ms. Song, you look beautiful tonight. Liam's lips curved into a smile. You have good taste, she said, tilting her chin proudly. Just then, a commotion at the entrance of the banquet hall drew everyone's attention, and camera flashes went off. It's Crystal Lu. It's really the fairy sister. Low gasps rippled through the crowd. A woman in a white feathered gown slowly walked into the hall, surrounded by a crowd. She was tall and slender, her skin almost translucent, her features exquisitely beautiful, and her eyes as clear and cold as water, like a fairy who didn't belong to this world. Hey, Liam. Victoria nudged him with her elbow. Honestly, between me and her, who's more beautiful? Liam thought for a moment and answered seriously, Crystal Lu. You. Victoria's almond-shaped eyes widened. She lightly stepped on his leather shoe, huffed, and turned to walk away. Liam was at a loss for words. He was about to find a quiet corner when his gaze inadvertently shifted, and he paused. At the entrance, Yara and Karen had also arrived. Yara was wearing a pale pink long-sleeved gown, looking gentle and elegant. When her eyes met Liam's across the room, a flicker of light appeared in her beautiful eyes. However, her mother, Karen, immediately let out a disdainful snort upon seeing Liam. She then pulled Yara forcefully, whispering, "What are you looking at? That's Mr. Liu from Tianjin Capital over there. Go say hello. Stop staring at that loser all day. Have some ambition." With that, Karen practically dragged Yara into another group of well-dressed business people. As she was pulled away, Yara glanced back in Liam's direction, her expression complex, before being swallowed by the crowd. Liam withdrew his gaze, his face calm, as if nothing had happened. At the gala, Liam sipped his wine alone, his gaze occasionally sweeping over the diverse crowd. On the other side of the room, Yara Chun, buoyed by the success of her viral mineral water ad, was surrounded by business representatives eager to talk. A sense of long-lost pride swelled within her. Her eyes drifted across the crowd to Liam in the corner, hoping to see a flicker of surprise or approval in his eyes. However, Liam merely stared calmly at the wine in his hand, as if she were just an insignificant part of the noisy backdrop. Yara's heart felt a slight pang. Liam noticed that Victoria's Song seemed to be in trouble nearby. A portly man with a signature bald head was talking to her with a wide smile. It was Director Fong, a well-known comedy director. He was practically pressing against Victoria, his eyes openly sizing her up, one hand creeping toward her waist. Victoria's face darkened as she skillfully sidestepped him. Liam frowned slightly, put down his wine glass, and walked over. "Ms. Song," he said, his voice not loud but clear enough to interrupt Director Fong. "Isabel has some partners who would like to chat with you." Seeing Liam approach, Victoria's eyes lit up as if he were a savior. Liam naturally took her by the wrist, gave Director Fong a polite nod, and turned to leave. Yara witnessed the entire scene. She saw Liam proactively rescue Victoria, saw the look of reliance on Victoria's face as they walked away together. A strange mix of sourness and grievance welled up inside her. "Yara, what are you looking at?" Karen's voice sounded in her ear. "Stop looking. What's so great about that, Liam? Come on, I'll introduce you to Mr. Zhao from Longshan Group." In a quiet corner, Victoria raised a new glass of red wine and clinked it gently with Liam's. "Thanks. That old lecher was about to drive me crazy." As they were chatting, Crystal Lu walked by with a wine glass. Someone bumped into her, causing her to stumble and almost fall. Liam, being the closest, instinctively reached out and steadied her. "Thank you." A hint of surprise flashed in Crystal's cool eyes. She then took out her phone. "Mr. Lin, would it be convenient to exchange contact information?" Just as Crystal left, Victoria spoke in a low voice. "Well, Mr. Big Boss, you're quite the charmer. Even the fairy sister is throwing herself at you. What is Ms. Song jealous?" Liam teased. "Me jealous? Liam, you underestimate me." She tilted her head back and drained her glass, but the slight flush on her ears betrayed her inner turmoil. Just then, Director Fong staggered over, holding a wine glass. "Ms. Song, my beautiful Ms. Song," he slurred, louder than before. "I'll drink 3 penalty shots, and then another toast to you." As he spoke, a greasy hand tried to snake around Victoria's shoulder. Victoria's face changed. "Director Fong, you've had too much to drink," she said coldly. Director Fong giggled, his eyes roaming freely. "Not at all. For a beauty like Ms. Song, I could drink 1,000 cups and not get drunk. Come on, drink this, and the lead role in my new movie. It's not impossible, you know." At that moment, the cold system notification sounded. Liam made his choice almost instantly. A crisp splash echoed as red wine and ice cubes were thrown onto Director Feng's shiny, oily face. The air in the room seemed to freeze. You dare to throw a drink at me?" Director Feng wiped the wine from his face, his shock turning into a towering rage. Liam put down the empty glass, casually picked up an unopened bottle of red wine, and, under the astonished gazes of the crowd, twisted off the cork and poured the entire bottle over Director Feng's head. "Now are you sober?" Liam tossed the empty bottle aside, his voice icy. "Respect women. Control your hands and your mouth. A great director?" Liam scoffed, a hint of disdain in his smile. "In my eyes, you're just a minor director, who can make a few films but has questionable character." He looked around, his voice resounding. "Since Director Fong values movies so much, let's play a game. I'm also planning to invest in 2 films. I'll personally oversee the scripts, and we'll release them during the holiday season. Then, we'll see whose work the audience prefers." The entire hall erupted in an uproar. Liam left them with the parting shot, "See you at the box office," then took the slightly stunned Victoria by the hand and left resolutely. They didn't go to a fancy restaurant, but found a bustling street-side food stall. "Down to earth," Liam said, opening a beer. "Even a great director needs to experience real life, right?" Victoria burst out laughing and raised her glass. "All right then, here's to Director Lin's first movie being a box office smash." The moment their glasses clinked, a massive stream of information flooded Liam's mind. God-tier directing abilities and 2 complete movie scripts, a fantasy romantic comedy titled The Troubles of Summer, and a hardcore crime thriller, Slaying the Wolf, were imprinted in his mind. As the night wound down, both were a little tipsy. At Victoria's sports car, she opened the door but didn't get in immediately. She turned to look at Liam. After a moment's hesitation, she leaned in and gave him a quick peck on the lips. Good night. With those 2 words, she jumped into her car and sped away. Liam touched his lips where she had kissed him, stunned for a moment, then shook his head with a laugh. Just then, a Maserati drove past. Inside, Yara, holding the steering wheel, saw the entire scene. Her mind went blank, her heart clenched, and her hand slipped on the wheel. The car swerved, scraping against the roadside flower bed with a screech. Oh my God! Yara, what are you doing? Karen shrieked from the back seat. That Liam. Kissing in the middle of the night. Shameless. Late at night, Liam returned home and dropped a bombshell in his group chat. Ethan, find some time to register an entertainment company. I'm planning to make 2 movies. The group instantly erupted. Bro, my dear bro, making movies? That's a deep and treacherous business. We don't know anything about it. Ethan was the first to object. Mr. Lin, please reconsider, Aaron analyzed calmly. The film industry has a long investment return cycle and high uncertainty. Is it wise to divert our energy into such a high-risk area at this time? Liam didn't explain much, just dropped another bombshell. In terms of funding, I've initially prepared $1 billion. A dead silence fell over the group. After a few seconds, Ethan sent a string of exclamation marks. $1 billion. Bro, did you add an extra 0 by mistake? Kyle sent a kneeling emoji. Liam, are you planning to make a sequel to Star Wars? Faced with their shock and concern, Liam remained calm. Ethan, after registering the company, get the legal and financial aspects in order as well. And just like that, it was settled. The next day, Ethan, with dark circles under his eyes, followed Liam's instructions and released the news. Celestial Pictures is preparing to invest $1 billion to produce 2 films and is publicly inviting talented directors and suitable actors to join. As he expected, the news created a massive stir in both the financial and entertainment circles nationwide. Hashtags like hashtag Liam Lin 10 billion movies and hashtag Celestial Pictures debut quickly dominated the trending lists on all major platforms. Meanwhile, Liam was hiking in the suburbs with his parents. His phone vibrated. It was a message from Victoria, a screenshot of a news headline. Outrageously rich. City's new tycoon Liam Lin invests $1 billion in film industry. Publicly challenges director Foam. Below it was a single sentence. Are you crazy? A smile touched Liam's lips as he replied. It's fine. Standard procedure. Far away in another city, Victoria stared at the nonchalant reply, her mind reeling. Standard procedure? $1 billion is standard procedure. She recalled the events of the previous night, and a bold thought uncontrollably rose in her mind. Was Liam doing all this for her? Because she was harassed by director Foam, he was willing to offend a major director in public and even invest $1 billion in a completely unfamiliar field, just to stand up for her? The thought made her heart race and her cheeks flush. That guy. She bit her lower lip, feeling both overwhelmed by such a grand gesture and a secret sense of joy and pride at being so fiercely protected. In Yara's office, however, the atmosphere was heavy. The glaring $1 billion was like a needle pricking at her heart. A strange mix of sourness and irritation welled up inside her. He could now throw away $1 billion for another woman without a second thought. This huge disparity made her feel suffocated. At the Fresh Life supermarket headquarters, in the top-floor conference room, Liam sat at the head of the table. Isabel Bai, Aaron In, Ethan Han, Kyle Chi, and other core team members were all present. Isabel spoke first. Mr. Lin, Celestial Palace Hot Pot currently has 78 branches nationwide. Last month's total revenue was $320 million, with a net profit of about $96 million. Aaron followed. Mr. Lin, Fresh Life Supermarket's performance continues to rise. The net profit for the second month reached $180 million, a month-over-month increase of over 60%. A series of stunning numbers were reported. Ethan and Kyle also updated on the progress of the entertainment and game companies. Liam carefully reviewed a stack of profiles of potential directors and actors that Ethan handed him, his eyes finally landing on 2 names. One was Zhang Huai, known for his delicate style and character-driven stories. The other was Xie Yuan, who had directed several small to medium-budget crime thrillers with a decent reputation in the industry. Zhang Huai, Xie Yuan. Liam pointed to their names. Arrange for me to meet with them as soon as possible. He then looked at Isabel. Isabel, keep an eye out and help me acquire a capable and well-crafted clothing factory, preferably one that can do high-end custom suits. Isabel was slightly taken aback. A clothing factory? In the script for Slaying the Wolf, the main characters have a lot of fight scenes and suits. If the movie is a hit, the suits they wear will likely become a hot topic. Instead of letting others make that money, we might as well do it ourselves. Hearing this, a look of understanding flashed in Isabel's eyes. She sighed internally, amazed at how sharp Liam's business acumen always was, always seeing 3 or 5 steps ahead. After the meeting, Liam returned to his office, took out his phone, and sent a message to Crystal Liu. Ms. Liu, I have a script on hand, The Troubles of Summer, an urban fantasy romantic comedy. I think the female lead role would be perfect for you. Are you interested in taking a look at the script? A moment later, Crystal Lou replied with a simple question mark. Liam didn't say more, simply sending the script to her work email. In the evening, at an elegant little tavern, Yara and Lucy sat opposite each other. Liam, he's making a movie, did you know? Yara's voice was muffled. Making a movie? Lucy was stunned. It's more than just that. The news is all over the place. Celestial Pictures, investing $1 billion, publicly challenging director Foam. 10. $1 billion. Lucy was completely dumbfounded. Is he crazy? Does he know anything about movies? Challenging director Foam. Isn't that just overestimating himself? Yara gave a bitter smile. Who knows what he's thinking? Probably. For Victoria's song. The scene of Liam standing up for Victoria at the gala, and Victoria kissing Liam, kept replaying in her mind. Hearing this, Lucy felt a mix of emotions, including a vague, unexplainable sense of envy. He could be so extravagant for Victoria?